What's up, guys? Today I wanted to show a video of how to install the Wakemakers kit for you, the Moomba Max. And I just wanted to, I'm having to do a voiceover because my GoPro audio sounded completely horrible, rattling inside the enclosure. But anyways, this Moomba Max kit comes with two 540-pound bags for each midship locker and two 1,200-pound bags for the rear, replacing the stock 900 or slash 1,000-pound bags, depending on who you talk. I personally think the rear bags on a stock Moomba are 900-pound bags. So just to start off, the first thing you're going to want to do is jump down inside the rear locker, and I'm glad this boat's got plenty of room because I'm 5'10" and can jump down inside here and got plenty of room to work on the engine and everything. But to remove the bags, you basically slide these red clips back towards the stern of the boat, and that releases them off of the little lock. And you've got three of them for the 2019 Moomba Max. The two bottom connectors or ports are the fill and drain. The top is the overflow that goes to the side of the overflow fitting on the hull. You just basically, once you move the clips back, you just basically have to pry back on the bags and the connector, and they're tight. It's got two O-rings in there to kind of seal it in there, and this is the first time you ever have taken them off. They may be a little bit tight, and there's not a lot of hose slack, so you just kind of have to work through it, but you can get them all off easy enough. This is the rear bag. Made by Fat Sack. Here we are doing the same on the starboard side of the boat. Just jump down in there and just take it out, just like you did on the port side. Slide the clips back and then separate the hoses. This is what it looks like without the bags in there. You can see the three fittings and the three connectors. The two bottom ones are the fill and drain, and the top one is the overflow. Same setup there on the port side. Basically what we're going to do is drill two holes on this side of the bulkhead on the rear compartment. And we'll also go and drill two holes on the midship side of the bulkhead. This is the midship bag, that 540-pound bag that comes with the kit. You can see on each bag it tells you what side of the boat that the bag goes on. The shaded side is the side that it'll go in. The midship bag is only going to have two connectors on there for the fill and drain. You can run an overflow drain or an overflow, and that's what I plan to do eventually, an overflow vent with a check valve. But for now, just for the sake of installing the video, this is how the kit comes with no additional hardware that you may want to do. What I'm doing here is kind of stretching the bag out, kind of simulating about the size that it would be once, or the shape that it would be once it's kind of filled, to kind of give me a rough idea about where I need to put my tape down, so that when I go to drill and mark on my holes, they're in the correct placement. So I'll put some tape down on this side right here, and that helps prevent any splintering. You're also going to want to drill in reverse to make sure that you don't chip away any of the fiberglass or anything. You're going to use a 2-inch hole saw bit because that'll allow enough room for the connector to go through. I'm also going to finish this off eventually with a nice little surround so it doesn't look so raw on the bulkhead. Here you can see I've got the tape laid out, and I've got it marked where I want the two, where I've kind of lined up the two fill ports for the bag, midship bag. You want to make sure that you definitely mark it and measure it, like they said, measure it twice, measure it 3 times before you go drilling the holes. Make sure you got it exactly where you want to have it, or pretty close to it. There's the 2-inch hole saw that was on the drill. Be sure you drill in reverse. Do not drill in forward or you will chip your fiberglass. Also, be sure you wear a respirator and have it really tight, because you can see all that fiberglass right there. When you go to drill it out, it flies everywhere. And if you have a vacuum, make sure your vacuum is somewhere away from the inside the boat whenever you go to vacuum, because it's going to dump it everywhere. This is the rear bag, and you can see on the rear bag you're going to have 2 ports that connect to the midship hoses that will run through the bulkhead. And on the other end you have the 3 ports that connect to the 2 fill and drain on the bottom, and then the top one is the overflow. We'll basically drill some holes on the other side of this bulkhead just to match up with the holes on the midship side. So here you can see we've got the holes already drilled, and looking pretty nice on there. I'm gonna, like I said, put a surround inside there so it'll be nice and finished looking instead of being raw fiberglass. But for the sake of the video, just wanted to kind of have it raw so you can see what it would look like. I've got them drilled on both sides there. You just feed basically the hose through there. And actually, rather than doing this, what I found was the easiest is go ahead and connect them onto the rear or onto the midship bag. And that way you don't have to fight with trying to connect a midship bag with the connectors that are down there. And it just makes it a lot easier. And that way you just feed the connectors and the midship bag all in one. This is that edge that I told them about. I'm going to have cleaned up with a nice little grommet in there to kind of finish it off. And I don't want anything to happen to snag against that hose. To connect the midship bags, it's just like we were removing the stock bags. You're going to connect them until they slide them all the way to hit that little lip right there. And then once they do, you're going to slide that red tab down to lock it down. So you slide them in until they stop. And lock in that red tab. Make sure it clicks to lock. Just slide it in and then lock it down. Here we are inside the rear compartment. Going to connect to the midship bag hoses that we just ran through there. Here they are, nicely connected. And what I found out is this bag, I was thinking it was gonna, be a little bit further back, and maybe after it stretches out with water in it, it'll stretch a little bit more. But it is a really tight fit. As you can see, I've got it as far back as I can there, and there's a lot of hose that ends up pulling in. I'm not sure if it's because this bag isn't stretched out or what, but it makes it really, really tight on the other side of the midship connector. And so I'm going to reach out to Wakemakers to see if they can't possibly send me some that are about 3 to 4 inches longer. But you can see right here, they are right there on this, right at the hole. And I don't want the connector right there at the hole. I'd like to have a little bit of hose coming out through there instead, so that it's not so tight against that connector. Because the last thing you want is that connector to the red piece to get lodged right in between that hole and then come off. And now you've got water pouring all out inside your compartment as you're filling. So again, I think it's just because the bag isn't quite expanded yet. Plus I think the bag is maybe a little bit short, or the hose is not quite as long. But yeah, I'm just not a big fan of how tight that is right there on that connector. It would worry me to keep it like that. So I'm gonna reach out to Wakemakers to see if they can't possibly send me some hose that's about 3 to 4 inches longer. You can see you got plenty of room up here left in the midship bag, so it's good for storage and everything. But I'd rather just move the bag a little bit further there anyways, just to kind of get it away from that bulkhead. Here we are on the starboard side, and you see I've already got the tape laid down there and marked where my ports are going to go, where I need to drill my holes. And when you drill, be sure you get that mat out of the way. I mean, yeah, you're going to vacuum this all up, but you don't want it on that rubber mat. It makes it a pain to get that out. So just go ahead and roll that out of the way. Again, you can see I've got it connected right here to the front, and just like on the port side, it is really, really tight on this connector. It's actually a little bit tighter on this side of the connector. You can see I've got plenty of hose right there, but the bag it's just because, you know, it's, I guess because it's not expanded or filled or whatever a couple times. It's really tight. But you can see those connectors are just right there at the hose, and this is why I'm talking about if you were to fill that hole, to fill the hose, and then those connectors happen to come off because they catch on that lip right there where the hole is, then yeah, the hose could pop off because it wouldn't be locked any longer. So I definitely want to get me a couple of inches of hose right here, about 3 to 4 inches, and that should make it a lot better. But yeah, the overall install for the Moomba Max is not bad at all. It's pretty straightforward. You know, you drill 2 holes on the bulkhead on each side, and yeah, so can't wait to see what this thing's going to look like on the water, and I'll be sure to have a video on that next time I get out on the lake with it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you on the lake.